Hello and welcome to Tabletop 24, and thank you for joining us for another Marvel Champions unboxing. Today we have the Hero Pack Spider-Ham. So if you are familiar with Welcome to the Spider-Verse, then Spider-Ham was obviously featured in that, and also in some of the comics. He's a cartoon version of the web slinger. So yeah, so we're going to have a look in here, and there are going to be some cards in here that will play very well to that. So obviously we've got our hero poster and our keywords. So we've got a little bit about the deck and our Spider-Ham poster. Always great. In our blister pack. And then we've got the deck itself. Then we'll start off with the pig himself. Let's put that in for you. So, each toon counter on Spider-Ham can be spent as if it were a wild resource. After Spider-Ham takes any amount of damage, place one toon counter on him. So you can be using these toon counters. Hand size of 5, hit points of 12, so quite tough. And then a 2-1-1 line. And Peter Porker. Response, after you make a basic recovery, place one toon counter on him. So he's really going to be using those toon counters as we go through. Then we have Captain America with a response. After Captain America enters play, give someone a high 5, place one toon counter on your identity, and shuffle one Spider-Ham card from your discard pile into your deck. So nice little bit of recursion there. That's not too bad for 3 costs. 2 thwart, 2 attack, and 3 damage. Then we have 2 copies of Ham It Up. Hero action, thwart, remove 1 threat from a scheme for each toon counter on Spider-Ham. So really using those, and a 0 cost attack at that. Hogwashed, 1 cost. Hero action, remove 1 toon counter from him. Loudly read this card, the card's flavor text. Choose to either deal 5 damage to a minion or remove 5 threat from the side screen. So quite a nice versatile card. I don't think so. 1 cost. With a hero interrupt, when you reveal a card from the encounter deck, remove 1 toon counter from Spider-Ham. Say, I don't think so, in your best Spider-Ham voice, and cancel the effect of that card and discard it. 2 copies of Petulant Pig, or Petulant Pig, should I say. Hero action, stick your tongue out at the villain, and the villain attacks you, and you draw 3 cards. Nice little draw engine there, but you are going to be getting attacked for it. Swinging Web Pig. 3 copies of. Hero action for attack. Deal 6 damage to an enemy. Confuse that enemy for 3 cost. Not too bad. 1 copy of the Daily Beagle. 2 cost. Alter ego action. Exhaust it to place 1 toon counter on Peter Parker. 2 copies of Cartoon Physics. Interrupt, when your identity would take any amount of damage, discard this card with your body and prevent all but 1 of that damage. Huge Wooden Hammer for 2 cost. Spider-Ham gets +1 attack, and when Spider-Ham makes a basic attack, exhaust the hammer and remove 1 toon count from Spider-Ham, and Spider-Ham gets +2 attack for that attack. That attack can overkill. So that's quite a nice use of those toon counters. Organic webbing. The Spider-Ham gets +1 thought, and exactly the same. So you will be able to ready Spider-Ham and gain aerial until the end of the phase. So that's quite nice. And then we are into the justice element that comes pre-packaged in the box for Lady Spider. Response, after Lady Spider thwarts and removes threat from a scheme, if you control another Web Warrior card, remove an equal amount of threat from a different scheme. Then we have Spider-Man, and it's Pavtir Prabhakar, I believe. After Spider-Man enters play, remove 1 threat from a scheme for each Web Warrior card you control, including Spider-Man. It's quite nice. 3 copies of Even the Odds. Requirement requires energy. Or hero action, thwart, remove 1 threat per player. From each side scheme, deal 1 damage to the villain for each side scheme defeated this way. 2 copies of Great Responsibility. When any amount of threat would be placed on a scheme, you take it as damage instead. 3 copies of Making an Entrance. When your hero makes a basic thwart, it gets +2 thwart for that thwart. After the thwart ends, if your hero removed all threat from a scheme, that way heal 2 damage. 3 copies of One Way or Another. Max 1 per round. Search the encounter deck for a side scheme, reveal that side scheme, draw 3 cards. So you can really pick out what you want from that. Followed, 3 copies of. Attach to a side scheme. When attached side scheme is defeated, deal 4 damage to an enemy. 3 copies of Overwatch. Attached to a scheme, max 1 per scheme. Hero Interrupt. When any amount of threat is removed from the attached scheme by thwart, discard this card, remove an equal amount of threat from a different scheme. So, quite nice, versatile. Then we have Scarlet Spider. Play only if you control a Web Warrior card, which obviously Spider-Ham is. Interrupt when you would reveal an encounter card, name a card type, then look at that card. If that card is of the named type, deal 1 damage to Scarlet Spider and draw a card. You can get some draw in there. The ally version of Spider, which we'll possibly be seeing in another unboxing. Play only if you control a Web Warrior. When defeated, add Spider to your hand if she was defeated by taking excess consequential damage. So really relying on that 1 attack, then 2 thwarting. 3 copies of Team Building. Exhaust it. Play a card from your hand that shares a trait with your hero, reducing its resource cost by 1. Web of Life and Destiny. Ignore this card's resource cost if your identity has a Web Warrior trait. Response: after Web Warrior ally leaves play, choose a player, that player draws a card. And then we are on into our obligations. I really want a hot dog. You may flip to alter ego form. Exhaust Peter Porker, remove 1 toon count from him, remove this from the game. Or you're stunned. If you're already stunned, this card gains Surge. Discard this obligation. We have a Nefarious Trap. When defeated, the Green Gobbler attacks the player who defeated this scheme. If the Green Gobbler is not in play, search the encounter deck and discard pile for him, put him into play and engage with the player who defeated the scheme. Then we have the Green Gobbler. So for 4 health, 1/2 scheme and attack. After a Green Gobbler engages you, discard all counters from each card you control. So again, that's really going to hurt Spider-Ham. Then we've got the Gobbler Glider. Surge attached to the Gobbler Glider. If you cannot attach to a minion, attached minion gains the aerial trait with +1/+1 on the abilities. 2 copies of Feast on this. When revealed, take 2 damage. If you are confused, you are confused. If you're already confused, this card gains Surge. Right, now we are on to our additional cards. So we have 3 copies of Warrior of the Great Web. Attached to a character with Spider in its title, max 1 per character. Attached character gains the Web Warrior trait. Response: after a Web Warrior ally leaves play, attached character gets +1 attack until the end of phase. You really build that up. And then we have our new encounter. So hunting the Spider Totems. So this is the Inheritors. Force Interrupt: when the villain phase begins, discard the top 3 cards of the encounter deck. Put each Inheritor minion discarded this way into play, engaged with a player who controls a Web Warrior character. If able, otherwise, each Inheritor minion discarded this way into play for the first player. Okay, so then we've got, I believe, 8 Inheritors. So we've got Borer. Each Inheritor gains an acceleration icon. And when revealed, if a Web Warrior character is in play, place 1 threat on each scheme. Bricks. Each Inheritor gains Patrol. When revealed, if a Web Warrior character is in play, place 2 threat on the main scheme. Deimos. All of them gain Stalwart. And when revealed, stun a character you control. Genix. Each one gains guard, and when revealed, give Genix tough status. Khan, each attack gains overkill and piercing. And when revealed, discard an upgrade or support you control. Morlun gains +1 attack. When revealed, take 2 damage. Each gains Villainous. When revealed, give Solus 1 face down boost card. And finally, Verna, all gain Retaliate 1. And when revealed, deal 1 damage to each character you control. I think that is quite a punishing side scheme, or should I say encounter set, especially if they are then put into the draw deck, and you're going to have to deal with them quite quickly, and they're going to become very powerful if you get all of them out together. So that is the hero pack for Spider-Ham. Thank you for joining us for this unboxing. If you haven't done so already, please check out other videos on the channel, give us a like and a subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. Take care.